It's impossible to discuss Philippine independence without talking about Dr. Jose Rizal. The country's national hero was among those who fought for Philippine independence until his death in 1896. But the question remains, are we really independent? And what does it mean to be a modern-day hero? So joining us this morning to share with us his thoughts is Isaac Reyes, a descendant of Dr. Jose Rizal. Good morning, Isaac, and welcome to New Day.
Good morning, Christine.
Good morning. Well, so it's about 5 years. Oh, you've been in the Philippines for 5 years, but
Yes.
a few years ago, CNN Philippines was able to sit down with you and talk to you about being a descendant of Jose Rizal. So, for the information of our televiewers, you are a great-nephew.
Grandnephew, yes.
Great-great-grandnephew of Rizal, because your great-great. Okay, you take me through this. You take me through this.
Yes. So my great-great-grandmother, there might be another great in there, I need to double check, is Saturnina, so Rizal's eldest sister.
That's right. So
Yeah.
what's the pressure like? I mean, what's it like?
Well, I just keep the relation pretty low-key in general, apart from interviews like this. But I don't think there's a lot of pressure, really. It's not like people are coming up to me saying, what have you done? Are you living up to, people are generally, they understand you can't choose your ancestors. Now, that said, in some ways, you do feel a little bit of pressure to actually try to achieve at least, 1% of what Jose Rizal achieved. And even that would be tough, given his massive range of achievements. So you do feel a little bit of pressure, yes.
Okay, well, in previous interviews, you also said that you came to know Rizal, well, a little bit through your family, but it's like something that you learned later on in life.
It is, yeah. The family, we don't make a big deal of it in the family.
Yeah.
And so I had to actually go and do a lot of my own research and reading to understand his legacy and that sort of thing.
So what's the one thing that you found out that, a lot of Filipinos don't know? Since you have the inside info.
Yeah, okay, there's one thing that I found really interesting, which is a lot of Filipinos love tinola.
Yes.
And I love tinola. I grew up, having tinola. And I found that his preferred tinola is actually with calabasa.
Okay.
And I said, that sounds really...
different.
I said, that sounds really weird. So I actually went and tried it.
And
it's really good.
See?
And so that's a little bit of trivia.
There you go. It's in your blood. I mean, you guys have the same likes. Now, what's
a little bit, yeah.
A bit of dislikes. I mean, what's the one character trait I think that you admire most about Dr. Jose Rizal?
His commitment to learning. He just had such a, he was like a doctor, he knew languages, he was an artist, and just that wide range of just being a polymath and a master of many disciplines. I really admire that.
Okay, and then so I understand that you are a data analyst and you've been in the Philippines for 5 years, so how has that been for you?
It's been good.
Yeah.
Data science and data analytics is a growing field, and it's really growing quickly here in Manila. So it's been a great country to be in while the market's been growing here.
But you were born and raised only for how many years in the Philippines before you moved to Australia?
So I was born here. I left when I was still 0.
Still 0. Okay, you were just born and left, yeah.
That's right. And so I grew up in Australia and didn't come back here until late 2013.
This is for Yolanda. So what was that? What brought you back? I mean, why didn't you want to come home earlier?
Yeah, look, I always did.
Yeah. And I guess you would for vacation. But
and we did. We came back every year. And, but the thing is, the way it is in Australia, it's the same here. You go to university and then it's like pressure to go and get a regular job, and then you get a regular job and there's pressure to build your career and all of that. And a move here would have meant, a big change to that typical path.
Yeah.
And so I resisted coming back here for a while, and then when Yolanda hit, I said, well, if you're ever going to go back, now is the time to actually go back.
So what did you do during Yolanda? I understand you tried to work with the Red Cross, but then you said, nah, I want to work right now. So
So I did want to work with the Red Cross. So Yolanda hit, I landed, I showed up at the Red Cross, and they said, okay, cool, let's go and help out. But you've got to do a 2-week first aid course, and that's just kind of too long.
Yeah. And what now?
And probably boring. And so, yeah, and so I ended up volunteering with the National Police and various government agencies, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And that was actually a catalyst for actually staying here, because when I was back in Australia, I'd only kind of managed small teams and things like that, but in that volunteer effort, I quickly realized that you can make a massive impact here if you've got good qualifications and things like that. You can quickly be managing more people and making a bigger impact. And I said, you know, maybe I should just come here.
During Yolanda, were you just based here, or were you able to go?
Yeah, so I was at NROC, the National Resource Operations Center, and that's where all of the aid was going. And so I was primarily just there. I wish I could say I was on the front lines in Yolanda and things like that, but no. We were at NROC. We were repacking goods and sending them off.
Oh, wonderful. Well, moving forward, how do you plan to make the legacy of Rizal, alive? And how would you actually introduce Jose Rizal to the new generation?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. How do we keep it alive for the new generation? I'd say what the Philippines needs moving forward is economic development, right? That's what pulled like millions of people out of poverty in Singapore. And really, I'd say he had a great passion for our nation. And I think we need to study what is it that's going to move our nation forward. Rizal did what moved our nation forward, which was getting independence. But I think we need to take it to the next step now and have economic development. So I'd say to continue his legacy, we have to continue moving forward and strategically do the things that are going to move the country forward. And that's making sure we open up the country to foreign direct investment, staying on the straight and narrow, working hard.
But I mean, briefly, before I do let you go, I mean, it's such a global world now. Can we actually call ourselves truly independent?
I'd say on the national level, we definitely satisfy the definitions of an independent nation. The issue, though, is that our economic development still needs work. And so, you know, we see issues like in the South China Sea and things like that, where we'd love to be independent, and that's our area. But other countries with more economic might are able to kind of infringe on that independence. So I'd say, yes, we're technically independent, but we can do better if we can do better economically.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for spending your Independence Day morning with us here in your day, and I wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Christine.
you. So that was Isaac Reyes joining us this morning.